Hi there, welcome to another edition of Beers with the Baron. My name is Chris Drausner, I'm the Beer Baron. Today we're going to be drinking Central Waters Bourbon Barrel Cherry Stout. This is a beer that comes in the 4-packs of the Central Waters Brewer's Reserve rather than their usual 6-packs. The Brewer's Reserve series is what puts Central Waters on the map for beer geeks, not just in Wisconsin, but around the country. It includes 4 beers, all bourbon barrel aged, that are well, they're all pretty excellent, and they're often traded around the country from one beer geek to another to get to places that you can't get Central Waters off the shelf. Central Waters sells in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, and Iowa. As I said, there's 4 beers released roughly throughout the year. The Bourbon Barrel Stout comes out in November. Cherry Stout comes out in January, and then Barley Wine will come out later this year, and then Bourbon Barrel Scotch Ale is, I believe, a late fall release. There used to be a 5th beer in the Brewer's Reserve series. That was Peruvian Morning, which was a fantastic Bourbon Barrel Coffee Stout, but Central Waters discontinued that last year after it was recalled for the 2nd year in a row for an infection, which is really unfortunate, but they've been working on their processes and hope to have, well, they haven't really said what they're going to do in its place, but they have said never say never in a tweet in response to, boy, we really missed Peruvian Morning. So there's a chance that could be back at some point. In the meantime, Bourbon Barrel Cherry Stout is the most limited of the Brewer's Reserve beers. They made about, I believe it was about 90 barrels of it this year. Almost all of that goes into bottles. But that's not a whole lot when you're spreading it out over those 4 states. And for that reason, the Cherry Stout is the only of Central Waters Brewers Reserve series that is sold exclusively in Wisconsin. The Cherry Stout is a little bit different than your typical Cherry Stout. Cherry Stouts are usually brewed with cherries. In this case, this beer is aged with cherries. So it goes into the beer goes into the barrel for 6 months with 75 pounds per bourbon barrel of Door County cherries. The effect is not as strong as you might think, but it is transformative. And what I mean by that is there's a subtle aroma of cherry, but what you really get on the aroma is the bourbon, the vanilla, the oak. It's very, very kind of woody. And of course, the roastiness that you would get in an imperial stout. The flavor is where the cherry really comes through, and it's not so much that it's an overwhelmingly cherry flavored beer, but the tartness really transforms this beer from what you'd normally get in a bourbon barrel stout into almost like a red wine. There's like tannins and that tartness that kind of mimic the profile, I think, of a red wine. You certainly get that vanilla oaky booziness. Cherry Stout is a pretty great beer. It's not my favorite of the Brewer's Reserve. I think their regular, the black Bourbon Barrel Stout, which comes out in fall and is still on some shelves in the Madison area, is their best of this series. But Cherry Stout is certainly up there. It goes for about $14 a 4-pack. And if you see it, this came out late last week, and if you see it, I wouldn't wait. I'd go ahead and grab it if you want to try it, because it's not going to be around for very long. Central Waters Bourbon Barrel Cherry Stout, give it 4 out of 5 stars. Cheers.